At the beginning of the 20th century, Arthur Machen took to the stage, playing minor Shakespearean roles and appearing in melodrama, music hall and comedy. This souvenir copy of Paolo and Francesca lists Machen in the cast. At this time he met Dorothy Purefoy Huddleston, whom he called Purefoy, and they married in 1903. Older work by Machen appeared in odd publications, including, quite improbably, Horlicks magazine, edited by A.E. Waite. Waite smuggled into the pages of the official magazine of the Malted Milk Company the opening of the Hill of Dreams as the Garden of Avalonius, A Fragment of Life, and The White People. In 1906, Machen also contributed a chapter to A. Waite's Strange Houses of Sleep, called The Hidden Sacrament of the Holy Grail. The Hill of Dreams is arguably Arthur Machen's greatest work, containing some of the most beautiful writing in the English language. It begins, "There was a glow in the sky, as if great furnace doors were opened." This is the first edition of the novel, published by Grant Richards in 1907. The frontispiece is by Sidney Syme, who provided the frontispiece for The House of Souls. He was actually commissioned to come up with 3 illustrations. The 2 unused ones are really very dark and may have been left out because they were hard to reproduce. They didn't all see publication together until the Tartarus Press edition of the novel in 1998. This is a later edition of The Hill of Dreams, and the jacket is a rare survival. It is the same year as the first edition. The book went through several in the early months. You can't have too many different editions of the same book, and this is one that I've only recently acquired. It dates from 1922 and is limited to 150 signed copies, but printing black text on blue paper really wasn't a great idea. But I still treasure my Corgi paperback, which was the very first Arthur Machen I read, aged about 15. After the stage, Arthur Machen took to writing for magazines and newspapers. His main job as a journalist, which lasted for several years, was with the London Evening News. He contributed the text of a souvenir booklet to celebrate the 10,001st edition of the London Evening News in 1913. And now we come to the Bowmen and Other Legends of the War, published by Simpkin Marshall in 1915. The title story was Machen's fictional tale of ghostly bowmen saving soldiers at Mons in the First World War, which became the legend of the Angels of Mons, believed by many to be true. The first edition contains 4 stories, and after over 100 years the paper spine has usually disintegrated, if the spine has been left in even indirect sunlight. A pristine copy, like this one, especially with its original promotional wraparound band, is pretty rare. The second edition is worth having because it contains a couple of extra stories and a frontispiece silhouette of Machen by Baron Schofield. I bought this one, despite the replaced spine, because it has the bookplate of Townley Searle, who ran the first edition bookshop and later published Machen. The bookplate is by the strangely wonderful artist Alan Oddle. It also has another variant of Arthur Machen's signature inside, which I'm sure is genuine given the connection. This is the larger format American edition. The first had a blue Bowman, and this is the second with a brown one. The Bowman was hugely controversial in its time and sold in very large numbers. Odd items of Bowman ephemera often turn up, like these advertising slips. And there were booklets denouncing Machen. Parodies, etc. There was even an Angels of Mons waltz, which could be bought as sheet music. Machen's next little First World War book was The Great Return, published by the Faith Press in 1915. It is another fragile book, and this is in good condition with its original dust jacket. Machen plays fast and loose with a repertorial style, almost inviting readers to believe that the Holy Grail might have returned to Wales at a time of national need. The Terror, published in 1917, is in a similar vein, but Machen tells stories of the natural world revolting against humans. The inference is that by waging a world war, we have lost any right to rule over the animals and birds. Frank Baker, who knew Machen, reused the idea in his novel The Birds, a novel which bears a remarkable and highly coincidental similarity to Daphne du Maurier's short story, filmed by Hitchcock. Machen's First World War publications conclude with the small book War and the Christian Faith, published by Skeffington in 1918.